All right. So behind the paywall. So like I said in the interview, I recently, or not recently, but a couple years ago, heard you on with Jeff Durbin on Apologia Radio. You're on an episode called Diapers, Dishes, and Dominion, which was like eye-opening for me. I was just going through that transition phase of a pessimistic eschatology into a optimistic, world-conquering, victorious Messiah kind of eschatology. So I wanted to kind of get your backstory, your kind of journey, because I think from what I understood that you kind of went through the same transition. Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts about that. Did it have any effect on your music or what you're doing now?
Yeah, definitely grew up with the pessimistic eschatology. Some people who know my story know that at one point I was afraid to even have children because I didn't want to bring them into this world where the Antichrist was going to rule and there was going to be some 7-year tribulation, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was just very confused, hearing so many things. And then eventually ended up being pointed to Gary DeMar's books, Last Days Madness. My dad sent it to me. Little did I know he had these books all along. Last Days Madness by Gary DeMar. Also read David Chilton's Paradise Restored. Literally just started reading it again, but to my kids this week for our homeschool time, started reading that to them. Those 2 books in combination changed my life, like literally changed my life. I was like paranoid, scared, like terrified of this whole end time stuff.
Rapture. Yeah.
It was really scary. And when you look at, if you were to, like, I kept, even just with 2020 and going into this year, I've said, if I wasn't a post-millennialist now, and if I wasn't optimistic about what God is doing in the scheme of things, I would be terrified right now with the things going on in the world. Yep. It's scary, but I can now see that, hey, looking over the scheme of history, I see God's entire plan, like start to finish, like what he's doing in the big picture. And that is something that is incredibly powerful and keeps me very optimistic. It's like also having an optimistic view of the future makes you want to get more involved. And that's what God is looking for. He wants us to be involved in politics, in local politics, in the world, start families, build businesses, feed people, like do the things, no matter what's going on in the world. I feel really strongly, like he's going to take care of those bad guys, but he's called us to like fill the earth, be fruitful, build the stuff, like tend the garden, do all those things, because he's going to take those guys out. There was only one Tower of Babel and they didn't have a very good ending. I don't think they might be trying to start. They've always been trying to make another Tower of Babel throughout history, whether it was the Egyptians or whatever. Like they're going to keep trying. They will continue to fail. It's not going to work. They will try to consolidate powers. They will try to build this. I mean, the UN building looks like the Tower of Babel. It was like modeled after that. So, I mean, they're pretty overt. They're pretty blatant, but they are already destined to fail. Satan knows he loses in history. So therefore, that should give us like a boldness, and it should give us like not just permission, but like a real boldness. It's like it says in the scripture that the gates will not. What was it? What is it about the gates?
Yeah, but the church, the gates of hell will not prevail against the church.
Right, will not prevail. The church is the one attacking. Right, it's not the church gates behind the gates. It's hell behind the gates, and it will not prevail. The church is on the offense, not the defense. Yes. So, that changes everything. And so, have the kids, raise them up, build the business, tend the garden, get your hands dirty in the world. And it won't be long before this place looks a lot different.
Yes. I love that, having that posture towards the world that God, intended us to have in the garden, right? Tilling it. We are gardeners. We are the people who are taking the earth, the raw materials that he's given us, the supplies, the resources that he's given us. And he wants us to steward them well, build, garden, create, discover, adventure, all of that. And it's just kind of disheartening that, over the past, 100 years that there's been this, pessimistic, story that's kind of seeped in. It kind of took the New Testament or just a couple books of the New Testament and truncated it from the rest of the the scriptures. But I would encourage everyone, if you're reading Revelation or Matthew 24 or any of those where they traditionally get the blood moons and the helicopters and the grasshoppers, all that stuff, take the imagery, look for the precedent in the Old Testament. You'll see the connection. You'll see what they're trying to say. It's not that you're not looking for 7-headed 10-horned beasts or a harlot riding it, whatever. Anyways.
Or the Bill Gates vaccine with the chip.
That's right. Man, that's awesome. And it should, like you're saying, it should affect the way that we view the future, the way that we work in history now, building businesses, doing art, all of that stuff. And hopefully, before too long, people are going to start seeing that we can actually be, a light to the world. They're looking at us and they're like, what's behind what's the motivation for this? What is this? But yeah, so man, that was good. That's really good. Thank you so much for that. I think hearing it from someone who's been really successful in the areas of entrepreneurship and business and all of that is really, it's really awesome. So thank you. And yeah, so I think that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
Well, hope it was helpful for all your listeners.
It was. Thank you. And we will talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, Leah.
Bye.